reason that I was very keen to speak at a conference like this and with all dignitaries like you is talk about design education. There are many of my team members and fellow academicians in the room, and for really India to disrupt design, we need to disrupt design education. And we really need to create 21st century talent like never before. As many of you, I am also not a designer. I had this wonderful opportunity to come back to India and actually set up a school of design and do things differently. The objective of today is really to share some things in terms of learning outcomes and exercises that we have done with our students to change the way they think about design. The world is changing, design students need to change and disrupt. So this is a little insight, 10, 15-minute insight into what we're actually doing. And the minute we are ready with some of this technology, we should be ready to. So my background, I'm a pharmacist, a clinical pharmacist. Spent 5.5 years studying pharmacy, then spent a year studying health economics. Worked for a company called McKinsey, which is a consulting company. Moved back to India in 2011 when this opportunity arose to set up a transdisciplinary school of design. We have colleagues of mine in the room. So there's Anando Datta, who's our program director from communication design. We had Salim Batri, who leads our product design program as well. So a lot of our team is here today to be with you. Colonel Bose as well. The idea really was to share this wonderful, wonderful nurturing initiative that we're proud of and to work with many of you to take this forward. So we live in an age of disruption. The theme of the conference is also disruption. And there have been major 4 revolutions during many of our lifetimes. And I think disruption that used to take once every century is now happening once every day. So therefore, how are we creating individuals? How are we creating the talent for today that is ready for the disruption that they face in the industry? I want to share a short video with you, which is really about 21st century education and how we really don't know the jobs of the future. So how can we create the talent of the future? This is something that we really believe in and something that we actually are working with each one of our students to adapt to the future. So when they come into companies like yours, not only are they ready with the basic design skill sets, but also ready to help you disrupt the future. So how do you educate in the face of disruption, right? Because we don't know the future, we need to prepare for the future, and we need our students to work with you and be successful for you. a very interesting article that I wanted to share with many of you from Fast Company, which came out about 6 months ago. And it really talked about the design jobs that won't exist. So today, again, what we are teaching our kids, many of these design jobs won't exist or would have changed. So the way we teach product design, do we need to change that for the future? The way we teach user interface design, everyone wants to be an app designer, right? Will apps exist in the future? Will these children have a career with you? All of this is something that we really, really need to look at as we educate our children. More importantly, what will emerge? Artificial intelligence, we've talked a lot about that. We've talked a lot about virtual reality. We've talked a lot about strategy. How do we make sure that our children of today are ready for this tomorrow? We've done an exercise where, let me share that with you.
So disruption is really the order of the day. And in the technology world, I sincerely believe that we need in the future more thinkers than just doers.
Over the last 2 years, we've been seeing a lot of demand for design-led innovation. In fact, that forms the cornerstone of the engagements that we do with most of our customers.
Infuse meaning into how people use products. That's what we mean by design-led innovation. So if you are a school that helps spark that curiosity, I think that would be worth its weight in gold. That's the kind of stuff that we are looking for.
In order to stay ahead of the competition, stay relevant, you need to constantly keep creating blue oceans and try to create markets which are uncontested rather than contesting in red oceans and play the price game.
It's been really exciting because you can
So that was just a little snippet of what we've been doing with the industry. So we know our students need an entire new skill set, right? How do we actually provide the skill set to them? And firstly, what is this skill set? So furthermore, we worked with them to really create a whole new 21st and now 22nd century skill set. But before I go into that skill set, I want to share with you another video that is inspiring all of our students and inspiring all of our academics in school. It's actually a documentary. It's called Design Disruptors. I don't know how many of you have actually seen that. But this is available through InVision. Given the theme and the talk today, I couldn't help but share this with you. So let's share this with you and talk to you about a little bit of what's happening in the world outside India around design disruption.
People look around and they realize that we are living in what's essentially revolutionary times.
Over the last 5 years, there's been several billion-dollar companies started by designers, and that's a new phenomenon.
Companies are starting to get closer to the idea that if you can create an amazing experience, it's going to help improve your business.
Engineers think about computers and think about systems. Does this actually functionally work? Where designers have to think about people and their emotional state and their quirks and idiosyncrasies.
At its best, design is human. It's not about, does it have drop shadows? Is it pretty? It's more about the connection I have to it.
When we think about designing products, we're trying to tap into things that are natural and to like and share things. These are things that existed well before Facebook did.
We are just in the infancy of developing a whole language around gestures. The first time that I zoomed, it was like, oh, fantastic. I almost want to get to a point where I can caress products because that's humane. I don't click people.
We're going to draw 3 panels of a solution. What we want to do is think about how a user is actually going to navigate through an interface.
We can quickly build stuff and test it with users, so we'll know when something as subtly has changed about our environment and a new thing is possible.
And that's when you can be very, very powerful, very dangerous to the incumbents.
Even the best companies in the world that just have amazing processes, they're vulnerable if they haven't thought about design.
There's less space today for a clunky, painful experience.
People have choice now. If they open it up and in a few seconds they don't immediately understand the value, they're done.
I think at the end of the day, what we really want to know is how big of a human problem are we solving?
The questions now aren't, can we build it? Because more and more the answer is yes, we can build anything. The question is, what is the future that we want to build together? For me, that's the power of design.
So this was really to set context for the academics that we're delivering, the experiential learning that we're delivering, the learning outcomes that we want to create, and hopefully something that we can work with you to take further. So the first very important skill set that we truly believe in for design students and for design educators of the future is social intelligence. Designers make things, they make services, they make systems, they make products, but at the center of it is human interaction and human interface. So the designer first needs to know how to interact with different sets of people, different objectives, and different challenges. So social intelligence for us is extremely, extremely important. Furthermore, we've talked about transdisciplinarity. So breaking down of silos, so breaking down of product design silos, breaking down of communication design silos, talking about design as a whole. So the importance of multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary education is paramount in today's day and age. Cross-cultural competency. The great news is India is not only designing products for India, but it's also designing products for the world. As resources become constrained in our Western partners, we will have to be called upon to do more with less. And I think the Indian designer really has that ability given the constraints within which we have been working and designing. So the ability, again, to understand different cultures is extremely, extremely vital and important. Furthermore, virtual collaboration, right? No longer is the day where we sit in the same room and work. We have partners all over the world. We have students working in different places. How do they work on the same problem set, on the same program, using this tool of virtual collaboration? So not only is collaboration important, but actually virtual collaboration, which is becoming more and more important. New media literacy. How do we use the virtual realities, the augmented realities, the new digital displays coming out? How do we actually leverage that and utilize that for new product creation and for new disruption? I think the ability for our children to learn as disproportionately as us is extremely, extremely important for us in this day and age. This is a favorite one of mine because I think Mr. Khan signifies transformation leadership. He spent a lot of time with our students and our children. And here what we're seeing is that the age of just the siloed designer is going. We're looking at design founders, we're looking at design leaders, and therefore the ability to really get unimaginable results through motivating and working with teams is something that designers need to do. Designers are in the lead, they're no longer at the back of the pack. In fact, I'm going to share a video where we worked with CII on Make in India. And the whole idea there was how do we leverage design students to understand and evergreen the Make in India initiative. And we also had the Design in India initiative embedded in that. And these are actually some results from that. It's more of a visual display. And since time is short, I'm just going to show you a short clip from there. But let me share that with you. So this is what one man, one country, and a few students working together can achieve. Of course, all you industry partners did, 90% of it, but especially the piece around Design for India, Mr. Deshpande is here, he was leading that as well. So let me share that with you. creating for our students. We're taking them right as early as first year, putting them in the deep end, making them work on solutions, on problems, on experiences to really elevate the discussion of design and debate of design in India. So along with that, they also need novel and adaptive thinking. They need to be able to move away from the rote learning systems. They really need to be getting into the different problem learning levels that we have. Computational thinking. I think more and more we spend time with computers than individuals. So how do you actually leverage the output from such relationships to the maximum? How do you use lots of data? How do you get the right output from that data for the product you're creating or for the service that you're creating? Cognitive load management. The level of information has gone up 10,000 times, right? So how do you filter information that is not relevant versus information that is relevant for the work and objectives that you're looking at? Sense making. I think this is my favorite one and probably one of my last slides, is because we can do things in a fragment of a time that we couldn't do earlier. So for example, glasses, right? So you break your glasses, you have to go to the optician, you have to spend probably 2 days till you get your set back, or you have to wait for a spare set. But our children, they don't need to wait for that anymore. They have 3D printer doodles, they have 3D printers which can create that, and they can use that immediately. So how do you get them to make sense in this rapidly changing environment, and also in an environment where instant gratification is happening quicker than they even know it? So I think these are some of the principles that we actually look at. I want to thank you as well. I know time is short, but most of our students and children wanted to be here with you today, but they're on leave. So I'm going to leave they've left a short message, or they wanted to share how excited they are that they're in the world of design. And this is something that keeps us going every day. And if we could infuse some of this energy into the larger design fraternity, I think we can get amazing results for India as designers. So I'll show you a part of this video, and then I will sign off. Is that on? All right.
Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! I was built to be the best, number one and nothing less. Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently. I have vision, though I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. 'Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up.
So there we go. So that was a brief insight into the designers of the future who are getting ready. I know all of our schools, design schools in India, are represented here. And all of them are very excited to graduate next year. July 17 is going to be our first graduating batch. But more importantly, I think this amazing design revolution of creative education that is happening in India is something that we should all be proud of. And thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions or mingle after the session, whatever is convenient for everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much.